Welcome back. Tenders for public sector construction consultants will soon face closer scrutiny to discourage bids that are priced too low to be sustainable. Selected projects will require bidding firms to show the manpower and the rates behind their proposed fees from the fourth quarter this year. This is under a pilot resourcing evaluation guide, or REG, by the Building and Construction Authority.
The REG will support more resource-conscious tender evaluation and help guard against unsustainably low bids, which can place undue pressure on project teams and compromise project outcomes.
Ms. Indrani was speaking at an industry awards ceremony. BCA says consultancy bids are typically submitted as lump sums, with limited visibility over how firms plan to staff a project. Under the pilot, agencies will assess whether proposed resources are realistic for the project, alongside an existing framework that weighs quality and fees. BCA says fairer fees can also give firms more room to invest in talent, capabilities, and innovation. The pilot follows a task force review that flagged talent shortages and unsustainable price competition.
Another step for the resource evaluation guide to improve perhaps would be a second stage where the consultants are giving a certain amount of manpower for the jobs. But at the same time, if this is either less or more, it's something that the procurers can also pay for if there's additional work.
And here to share more on what this would mean for the sector, we're joined by Melvin himself, Melvin Tan, immediate past president of the Singapore Institute of Architects. Melvin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, can we start with what challenges the firms are facing with current tender prices as they are?
There are quite a few challenges for architects in today's PE sector, but specifically on tender pricing, it's all about understanding what the scope of work is required for any project, and projects have many complexities. And so if there's clarity of the work and we all understand the work better, that serves towards more competitive bids and better bids. One thing I'd like to highlight is that Singapore Institute of Architects created the Value Articulation Framework, and that's what helps architects understand the scope of work for which they are bidding whenever a project comes to bid.
Okay, so you mentioned clarity is very important. So how significantly will the pilot change the way firms then compete for work?
Exactly that. It makes it clearer. Now, what we want to avoid is different architects bidding for a project with different amount of information, right? Ideally, a competitive bid is when everyone understands or has perfect knowledge. But in this case, it may not be the case. But what this does is that we are able to all be on the same platform. We're on the same playing field. We understand how much time we need for in terms of seniority of staff as well. So I can allocate our hours for manpower, and so can the next bidder do the same. And when we all do that, hopefully we are competing based on a same yardstick.
So if the ideal scenario is a level playing field, as you mentioned, will having more information then necessarily then address the pressure to compete on price?
Not quite. So there are other challenges that we're facing in the industry. For example, attracting talent and retaining talent. So there's only so much you can go with competing on price, because at the end of the day, every firm needs to be able to have enough manpower and have to pay for that manpower to be in the office, right? So I think there's a kind of a stopgap from which you can't go any lower. So we will be actually trying to bid on quality. And I believe the whole idea of this is to enhance procurement methodologies. And we want to be able to bid on quality rather than price.
With a focus on quality then, what do you think would make this pilot genuinely effective and for the long haul as well?
So this resource evaluation guide focuses on manpowering, which is a large part of our costs. Now, understanding the scope of work means I can allocate a proper senior person or junior person or persons effectively across the project. A lot of times, architects today may bid based on what they think is the right price, but if they read manpowering together with our value articulation framework, they would understand that a project requires a certain amount of dedication of manpower. Now, if you just put that down, according to the number of years that we actually run projects, we will get a number that may actually surprise most architects that it's actually higher than what they were bidding on. So I feel that this guide really allows us as architects to understand our costs and to make sure that we're costing it correctly. Correctly is actually a good thing. It's also a good thing for the procuring agencies, because the last thing you want is a firm that comes in on a price that is low, you award them, and they end up not being able to deliver on the project. Ideally, you want a firm that is resourcing it correctly and coming in with a competitive cost, and that's the target.
Okay. Well, recently there's been concern about whether architecture as a whole remains an attractive career, especially for a younger generation of architects, especially amid the talent shortages and also maybe morale issues with regard to AI. So will procurement reform go far enough to change these concerns or address them?
Procurement reform is one aspect of it. In the task force that was helmed by Minister Indrani and Charlie Ma last year, there were many other suggestions, like the BE Care Charter or the Inspire Mentorship. You spoke about AI. I think AI will empower the profession. It will empower the way we craft our buildings, but it won't take it away. So I believe that there is a lot more in store for us in the future and exciting times ahead.
All right, Melvin, thank you so much for sharing your views with us today. I've been chatting with Melvin Tan, who is immediate past president of the Singapore Institute of Architects.